Welcome to the live, everybody. This is new ground for us to cover. You can see the auction is started, Silverstones Auctions. They're running through the rules and regulations, which are quite interesting in themselves. So it's a slow pace of everything that we do. And we may as well listen and see what's going on. We've also got other members of Rallying with Group B watching and working behind the scenes. Andy Medicott's just joined. And quite a few others. So we'll keep checking in with everybody. We'll share this live feed and we're here potentially for another 3 hours. I can tell you that the Peugeot T16 is lot number 147. About 20 cars per hour are going to go through the auction. So it could be that the T16 is actually being auctioned at something like 3:30. But we're going to watch it live. It's all very exciting. As I say, first time this type of thing's ever been done, and we're going to try and enjoy ourselves. I will keep swapping and talking to the guys. We'll give a little bit of time for people to log on and interact. We have also shared our Zoom call. So if you would like to call in, a bit like a radio show, you're more than welcome to use our Zoom link. And if I like the look of your name, I'll click it, and then you're live on air to join us for the auction. If I'm a bit busy doing something else, I might ignore it, but you're more than welcome to give it a go. Yep, Mick West is just about to join us. Tim Foster's there, Jack Foster's behind the scenes, and our media expert, Mark Crossley, is also with us. I might share that in a minute, but we're just going to go back to the auction and listen to the guys for a second.
There are bidders on every continent and around the world that can see us and hear us in real time and will be bidding in real time. So my advice as a humble auctioneer to everyone, where you are on the phone or certainly online, do please get your bids in early. There is nothing to be had from leaving your bid to the last second. If we miss your bid, you miss your lot. Do please bid with gay abandon. It's always sensible to have a ceiling, perhaps +1, just to be clear of any competition. We do have firm and fixed reserves on many of the vehicles, which are pre-agreed and, I hasten to add, are sensible and appropriate for the times that we now find ourselves in. So there are no cars with reserves from 6 months ago. These have all been revised, discussed ad nauseum with vendors, and we believe them to be sensible and appropriate for the vehicles in the current market.
A little wave to Brian Hardy. Hello, Brian. Thank you for watching, Brian. It was new technology for him. Brian's my old co-driver from years ago, just in case anybody was wondering who Brian Hardy is. At some point, he might be able to come back on, but he needs help, as we all do. A bit special needs these days is Brian. But if he works it out, he'll be on later. So, Jack, have we got anything going on Facebook?
Yeah, good afternoon, Kev. Yeah, we've got over 100 people watching now on Facebook. Good afternoon to everybody that's tuned in, watching. It's going to be an exciting afternoon, obviously, watching all these sales. Exciting lots. If you want to get involved, like Kev said, get involved in the comments or join the conversation. Either or, yeah. Just have a good afternoon and enjoy.
Brilliant. Thank you, Jack. And I'm going to do a similar thing. How are you doing, Tim?
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Rallying with Group B and live auction for the sale of the Peugeot 205 T16. So we're very interested to see where we go with that, and looking forward to the rest of the lots on the auction this afternoon.
Andy's just legged it. Perfect timing for himself.
Look at that, Kevin. That could be your new vehicle if the Peugeot sells. Look at that beauty.
Well, that's going to be a topic of conversation for us. What would I buy next if it sells? Very exciting. We've only got probably 2.5 hours.
That's got your name all over it. You can get your electric mountain bike.
Right, Andy Medicott, you're back. We'll try and unmute you.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can just about hear you. Jack, is that good volume? Great, Andy. Nice to see you. For anybody that doesn't know, Andy's the co-owner of the Peugeot 205 T16 with myself. Andy's the one that didn't want to sell the car, and I don't. But Andy 99% didn't want to sell it. I only didn't want to sell it by 50%. So, right, I'm going to run a little story by Andy. Well, how are you feeling today? We're selling a car that means an awful lot to us, but this is the day of the auction. The car might go. How do things feel for you?
Well, can you hear me okay, Kev?
Yeah, absolutely fine. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would honestly say it's a sort of a sad day, really, because, you know, everything that Group B encompassed was in that car. I mean, I just loved it to bits, but obviously things can't go on forever, and we've sort of made the collective decision now this is the way forward. And maybe it's the end of one chapter and the start of a new chapter. So, you know, I'm optimistic that things will, you know, get better in the future. And maybe, who knows, we might have a new project on the go.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to persuade Andy that the only way to cope with this loss, a bit like losing a loved dog or a pet, is to get another one. That's the best way to look at this. But I tell you what I was thinking the other day, so I'll probably need to go on screen here. Try and get myself to be center screen. Here we go. Yeah, so what I was considering is a bit like things in life generally. When would be the last time that I ever saw the car? And I didn't plan that there'd be a last time. I don't know why I feel this way about it. But there was a last time. I left it at Race Retro. I left Andy to look after it. I walked away saying, just look after it. And I haven't seen it since. So that's the last time that I'll have seen it. And that's going to be now imprinted in my brain that the last time that I ever drove the car or was in it. So quite a strange thing. So maybe when we come on and ask guests, I'll ask them the last time they ever saw that car. So as far as Jack, Mark and Tim are concerned, I'll give you a car, but a rally car you have the most emotion to and a competition car you had the most emotion to. And when was the last time that you ever saw it? I can certainly now say I'll remember the T16. Andy, I'll back to you. When was the last time that you, well, what will be your memory of the last time of you driving it?
Well, let's have a think. I didn't do well. Not in the last 12 months. We didn't really use it. I think when we did, I think you did most of the driving. But probably the most cherished memory of the car was in Hengelo, Holland. But unfortunately, that didn't go the way I planned. Things went wrong with the car, but it was the only real time I had a chance to drive the car in anger, and it lived up to all its expectations. It was just phenomenal, and you know, I don't honestly think I'll ever own or see another car like that again.
We were very lucky to get it. Yeah, I mean, it's a long story. The car travelled around the world, and I'm sure most people know that now. So how it ended up in my hands initially it is a twist of fate and a lot of luck on my side, because I knew the car in period, which was strange that I never thought I'd get a chance to own it. I never thought I'd have enough money to own it. And it went away like a multi-million-pound dream car off to America with a very wealthy American owner. And it was just a little memory in my mind. And then that would be almost 20 years later, I got the opportunity to see the car again when it came back from New Zealand. And it came to do a rally here. I got in contact with its owner, Peter Johnson from New Zealand, and ended up owning the car. And we've been so many different events and journeys and things that we've done with the car, and so many fond memories of it. And the same with you, Andy. You know, like when we first met, the car won Best Car at Rally Car Show, and we were given an award by Colin McRae. It was nice to see Colin around the car. And that was the first time I ever won an award where I was gifted an award for having a beautiful car, but I'd done nothing for it. I didn't drive. I didn't even build the car. It was all PJ's work, and really in tribute to John Woodner as the owner of and the history of the cars themselves. and such a rare beast. But I actually met you at that show, Andy. So what was your first ever memory of seeing the car and what you thought of it?
Well, I remember the day. It was in September and it was 2005. And I think I've already mentioned this. I wasn't well that weekend. I had full of flu and I've never really missed that show. Rally supercar show at Castle Combe. And in the end, a mate of mine persuaded me to go along. And when I got into the show, I remember it pouring down with rain. And I remember climbing up an embankment and looking down, and there the Peugeot was going around the track. And I didn't realise at the time, but you were in the car, and I think Higgy was driving the car. And I remember it coming back in along the slip road. And I remember literally running to that car. And by the time I got there, you'd disappeared off into a motorhome. And I remember tapping the door and asking the lady there if I could speak to the owner. And one thing that struck me about you, Kevin, I think I've mentioned this before, you actually not only came out in the rain, you lifted the rear of the car up. And of course, everybody gathered round, the spectators galore. And you had the time to talk to me, you give me the courtesy of chatting to me, which I thought was honourable. And then I realised then, you know, this is something I want to own or co-own as what happened. And it was the better option. And it's been a great 15 years, Kev, it really has. I've enjoyed every bit of it. We've met so many people. And the most important thing of all is the backstory to the car. You know, not really ever knowing much about John Woodner, but I do now. I know not only about John, I know about all the people who was involved. And the car has a history all of its own. And then obviously what we've done with the car as well must be taken into account. So I just think it just means so much. And although I'm happy that the car's reached the auction and what we've agreed, I'm sad in a way that my sentiment on the car, my life, what I always wanted is what I had. And it's just sad to see this day come, but it's got to go. And I only hope that whoever it goes to has as much appreciation as what both me and you have had towards the car. And they truly will have something special.
Yeah, clearly that's everything that I think about the car. You know, you putting it really eloquently into words, and I guess the big thing is that it's a big amount of time, 15 years, and the car has offered us loads of unique opportunities, and it's great to turn up somewhere and get fans of the car and people that understand the history together. And I really enjoyed taking it off PJ, and that Passover experience was phenomenal. And some of it I'll keep personal to me, but certainly PJ's watching this. It was great, and he was a great custodian of the car, and hopefully we've been that as well. And you talked there, Andy, about people that we've met along the way. Some drivers I've rubbed shoulders with before, like Harry Vatanen, and in particular Harry, actually, because when I was 21 and won a championship, a Peugeot Challenge to be a works driver for Peugeot, my all-time rallying hero, who was Vatanen, gave me the award. And obviously then the dream car was to try and compete in a Group B car, but that was never going to be possible because Group B had been banned by that stage. But to meet Harry when I was a young driver and he was still competing at the time, that was phenomenal. And then what a twist of fate that 25 years, almost 30 years after Harry had given me that award, that I was back at a show with Harry in the T16, you know, rubbing shoulders with him again, and now having much more in common with him because I was the owner of the car that he has such fond memories of. So along those lines, I know, you know, Vatanen is you've got massive respect for him, but we've met many superstars along the way. Any stories on that side, Andy? What would you say was your favourite stories? You know, who did you meet the most? I mean, Kankkunen jumped to mind that you put a lot of effort into getting Kankkunen to come over and see us. So, yeah, you know,
there was a funny story, Kev.
Who are the people that have impressed you the most?
Okay, can you still hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Funny story. me and you took the car to Chumley Hall. I can't remember. I think it would have been about 2011. And it just so happened that UR Cankerdon was also there testing a Bentley Continental, Bretlin Bentley. And I went over to the hospitality, and it was all like a roped off area, very posh and select. And I opened, unhooked the rope, went in, and of course I got a rollicking off a guy because he said, you know, you're not allowed in here. And I said, well, I've come to see you are. And he said, well, he's not here. So I had to hang around, and eventually he arrived, went in, and I waited. And then I asked the guy then, I said, can you go and have a word with him? I'd like to talk to him. And I could see him turn round, and he said, who are you? And I gave him my name, and he looked at me as if he'd never heard of me or whatever. But he too had the courtesy to come over. Well, he didn't call, he summoned me, and I went over. And I was quite nervous, to the point where I got some photos of the car when it was in Washington, next to UR's car. And I asked him if he could sign them. And I was that nervous. I actually dropped the photo on the floor. I was that nervous. And but anyway, he signed it. And then I said, look, I said, I don't want to be rude, but could you at least come over and see the car? I'd love you to come and see it. And he said, well, I'm very busy. I don't know what time. Leave it with me. I'll see what I can do. So I walked up, and then I walked back again. I said, did you know any idea of what time? And then he started to get annoyed. He said, I don't know. He said, maybe 30 minutes, maybe 1 hour. I don't know. Anyway, I walked off. I remember coming back to you, and you were with Mark Higgins, and we were chatting. And I said to you that UR's coming over. And we all got excited and waited, probably 35, 40 minutes, no show. And I think you said, I've got to do some filming, so we're going to go. And then out the corner of my eye, I spotted UR. I walked over to him, and he came up to me, and he goes, where the heck have you been? He said, I've been looking for you everywhere. I said, well, yeah, sorry about that. And he goes, right. Anyway, he comes over to the car. We lift the back up. Same thing again, started raining. So there was me, you, and Higgy under the car. And as soon as he started looking at the engine, it sort of brought all the memories back. And he was pointing to this, pointing to that. His technical knowledge was just without question. He's just such a knowledgeable guy and such a pleasant guy to talk to. And he didn't rush off. He stayed with us, sat in the car. And I think you had a chat with him. And then he not only had that, the decency to come over, he even signed the wing of the car. And then I asked him to put underneath the signature the word Sisu, which in Finnish means I will lay down my life for what I believe. Indomitable spirit to carry on regardless in any circumstance. And that's their belief. And I didn't have to tell him what it meant. He knew what it meant, and he signed it next to the name. So whoever gets that car, that's the little backstory to that. But on top of that, there was also Mickey Biasion signed the car at, I think, again, Chumley Hall. Also, Harry Toivonen, very friendly guy, came over. Not only he signed it, I didn't ask him to, he just signed it, Henry and Harry Toivonen. And also, Didier Auriol signed the car at Race Retro. And I'm trying to think of the other signatures. I know Mark Higgins, both me and you, Kev, have signed it. Chris Ingram signed it. And I'm sure, I'm trying to think, Paddy Hopkirk as well. That was at the Accrington show where Paddy was there, and he came over, a very, very nice chap. So yeah, the car just on its merits of the signatures alone is worth something. So I think it's all of the drivers and all the people I've met associated with that have all been such a great bunch of guys, and it's been an absolute pleasure. And it really has. I can honestly say this hand on heart, Kev. It's been a pleasure co-owning the car for the last 15 years, and I've enjoyed every minute of it. So for that, I thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I was just about to butt in and say Paddy Hopkirk, but actually you remembered every one of them. So you did an amazing job of remembering, because I can't ever remember them. Now I feel I should be talking at this point, because we can see the flames and just how hot the turbo and the exhaust manifold gets there. We're going to have another look at it in a sec. This is a unique view for the T16. It's on a rolling road. I'll tell you the story in a moment, but to just see the turbo actually get the exhaust manifold this hot.
Hurry it along. Are we done?
Are we done?
£5,000 bid tier then.
Okay, interrupted by the auction. Now I don't know how that sounded. We haven't got that production level. Hopefully there was enough sound of the car there and not just the auction itself ticking along. But yeah, I'll bring Andy back in to chat about this because I actually wasn't with the car at this point. It didn't go to the rolling road for an engine tune, but actually Sega, the rally game, wanted the car because they were doing noise recordings or sound recordings for the Sega rally game. So, and we've done that since with Codemasters, so Dirt Rally. So if you get a 205 T16 engine noise on a game, the chances are the noises were recorded of our car, which was quite an exciting thing to say all the time. So although the graphics are not necessarily our car, the sound usually is. I'll bring Andy back in. That is terrifying to look at the exhaust flames there and realise just how hot this car gets. Now, since then, we've actually wrapped that exhaust, so you can't get any flames under the rear of the car. But Andy, you were there at the time. What was that like? Terrifying?
Yeah, well, yeah. I had the camera pointing at the back of the car, mainly to record the noise. And what caught my eye was the turbo was getting hotter and hotter, and it started to glow. And I'm sure at the corner of my eye, I saw a flame shoot down. I thought, well, that's not right. So anyway, I brought the camera in closer. Unbeknown to me, I'd recently just bought a new pair of plastic blue trainer shoes. I got them on. And of course, the exhaust gases were venting down over my trainer. And I thought the smoke I could smell was coming from the engine, but it was actually my trainer smoking because it was the gases off the exhaust for setting the trainer's alight. Luckily enough, I got that in time. But also, we managed to find and locate the problem with the mating of the exhaust manifold, which could have potentially been a problem. So I remember when we went to Bradford Classic, we had a hairy moment, if you remember, Kev, when the car, we had not a fire, but a close scare when we came off the stage, and we could smell burn in the back. We had the backup. I think we'd had an attempt to put some wrap there, and it didn't go as planned. Do you remember that?
Absolutely, I do, Andy. Yeah, I would never forget that. Only a small flame at the rear, but certainly we made sure it was wrapped after that. Sometimes things or people will say to you, you must be brave to be a driver. And one element of driving that people never really appreciate is the fact that you're gambling with an awful lot of money. 100% sales so far, so every car's selling. They seem to be hitting on or above their predicted values when we go on. We've had lots of interest. Got to give you all of you a big welcome to the broadcast. There's 120 people on at any one time, so anything more than 100 is just fantastic. So big wave to everybody there. We'll carry on. We've got a star guest coming up. I'm going to play you something, and I'm going to let you see the car, see if you can work out who our next star guest is going to be. The auction's ticking along nicely. If you've only just joined us, I think we're about 50 cars away. Jack is in charge of looking through the lot lists to try and predict when the T16 might be on. I know that our car's 149 in the lot order, and I think it's about 30 cars away. But I'll let Jack keep an eye on that. Jack, have you got anything to report to us about people communicating on Facebook?
No, I just said it's great. Obviously, over 120 people online. People can get involved if they want to. There's a link on the actual chat if they want to join in the comments. Or if you've got any questions, just put them in. We'll ask away, yeah?
I'm going to play a video to everybody, and see if they can guess who you are. And then I'm going to come to you. So don't say anything yet, even though your mic's open. Although we could do a voice and see how many people recognise the voice. But right, let me try and do this. All very technical what I'm up to.
Sideways would certainly be the theme of the morning at Trackpad Rally Yorkshire. As Ryan got stuck back into the Mitsubishi World Rally car, he tested for names such as Blitzy, Gali and Rovanpera. These cars take a lot of driving. There's no halfway house, and with only one brief test in the car, it was a baptism of fire for a man who hasn't driven in anger on a stage for some time. Even the champion does know these Yorkshire stages like the back of his hand. At times, the Mitsubishi and Ryan were a little too sideways. No harm done. Instead, it was setup changes that would be hampering progress through the first part of the rally. Indeed, at times, it felt more like a return to his development days with the car.
As you're exploring the extremities of the stage, I'm guessing you're getting more used to the car.
Yes. we did have a couple of indiscretions in that.
Okay, my mic's back on. I think the secret's over. Let me share our gallery view. Look at that. We have 2 Ryan champions. Amazing. Right, Ryan, can you see us? Are you all there? How are you communicating to us?
Well, by the English language, hopefully.
Okay. Although you are from Yorkshire, so
well, that's true.
It's thoroughbred English. But there we go. I've got a very strange going on, which being a media person, you'll understand. I'm listening to a live auction, same volume as my volume, and then you guys are a bit quieter than me. Apparently, it's okay on Facebook, but it's a bit weird for me. So if I start freaking out a bit, you can understand what's going on. And there's a couple of reasons why I've asked Ryan to come on. One, there's a big pal of mine, and it's great to chat. As always, the other one is that he's a member of Rallying with Group B and comes to our events and does an awful lot of things. And then 2 other elements to that is that he's a great driver. He's been a works driver, a front runner in lots of one-mate championships that I'm going to touch on because I always find it interesting. Ryan's one of the few people that's done multiple one-mate championships and been successful at them all. So I can't help but talk about that. But also, Ryan's carved out a really good, serious career for himself working in media and PR. And I'm not even sure how he describes himself. But I'm interested in that. Okay, it's my thing. But also, do people make it into that industry? Make a full-time living out of being a pundit almost, or working in press, PR, motorsport, motoring. So, and the other reason to speak to Ryan is the owner of a few fabulous cars. Probably, I can't preempt it, but one of my favourite cars that I know that Ryan owns is his Subaru 555 car, which is renowned with our club. But yeah, I guess I'll start off talking about that, Ryan. Value of cherished cars that you only drive for display purposes, which we probably never thought we'd say that would even be a thing. How does it feel, first of all, to be involved in driving for display purposes and then owning a car? And why did you choose to put all the time, effort, energy and money, serious investment into the car that you have?
Well, I think firstly, the events that we do with these cars are great fun. And unfortunately, in competitive rallying nowadays, it's such an expensive sport that maybe some of the social aspect of it has actually gone out of the sport, unfortunately. Everybody comes to the events last minute. Everybody leaves from the events as soon as possible. And, and it's rare to be able to get together, have a chat and have a beer. And that's one thing that the demonstration events allow. You turn up, there's some cool cars, you get to see each other's cars, you get to go in each other's cars sometimes. And, you all have a beer at the end of the day. So there's a great social aspect to it, as well as some sort of competitive driving, if you like. It's something that, like you said, I mean, I'm still competitive at heart, and there's no substitute for competing on events, but that comes with a cost, and it's a lot cheaper to run these cars on a demo type events than it is to compete with them.
Yeah, you've maybe in some ways you've hit the nail on the head. For people that don't know your backstory, I sort of knew your mum and dad, or of your mum and dad, as people involved in competition and drivers before I knew you. Probably you were a little baby running around somewhere when I knew your mum. being around the Birkbecks and the families. So it's been great to see you come through the ranks, even though I'm not that much older than you. In fact, I must be if I think about it. But, you know, you're a little kid there in the background. But what, you know, what it's about for you, and in the same way as Chris, you've come through a family of rallying. So just give me a quick insight into that, you know, like, especially because your mum, you know, I mean, it's really rare to have a female that's that does anything in motorsport, let alone somebody that's been as successful as your mum, as in competition terms. So, you know, what did that feel like? How's that? And what was your introduction to motorsport as a youngster?
Well, that was normal for me. That's what I grew up with. So, you know, initially my dad was competing, although I was pretty young when he was first competing, and then he stopped for a while. But by that time, he'd got my mum into co-driving for him, and then when he stopped, my mum simply carried on. So, you know, I remember as a 10-year-old going around the RAC rally because my mum was doing the RAC rally for 5 days. You know, that wasn't really strange to me. And in fact, Chris Birkbeck, who you mentioned, mum was doing the rally with him, and Chris brought the Nova he was using at the time, which incidentally was the car that Colin McRae would go on to be quite famous in. So Chris actually brought the car to the school before they went away and started the rally, and we did a project at school on it. And then I went and watched some stages, went to services and that kind of thing. You know, and in the same year, funnily enough, I was talking about it the other day. I remember being in Belgium that year on the EPA rally as well, and waking up in the middle of the night in a service van as one of the Porsches came in without an engine cover on it. I still remember it really, really clearly. So I was just brought up around rallies, brought up around, you know, fortunately quite big international rallies, and of course that was just something I always wanted to do. So as soon as I was old enough, I joined the local motor club. I did co-drove on road rallies. I competed on auto tests, on production car trials. Then at 16, I started co-driving on stage rallies as you had to be then. And at 17, I got into driving and really sort of made my way up through the one-mate ranks, as you said.
Yeah, and that's really exciting, or it would be if you're into motorsport. I suppose if you're not into motorsport, like I say, it's just normal. So from the point where I'm going to put myself from. So from the point where you became serious at thinking that this might be a career, you know, you're involved in it from your parents' point of view, but then this is a unique pressure, and Colin McRae is dealt with it in probably more of an unusual way. But you know, you're the son of parents who are involved massively into a sport, whatever that sport is. You've got a good leg up, but with that comes an awful lot of pressure. And I've been around enough families to know this. You know, it doesn't always work. It's not like every son is going to follow in the father's footsteps or have the same determination or whatever. Yeah, it's a good opportunity, but also it can be a burden. So at what point did rallying become serious to you, Ryan? When did you think, you know, that to take that forward yourself and push with it, you know, and decide that ultimately, like I know that it is, it's become your life?
Well, I guess my first real taste of true competition, if you like, of close competition, was in the Peugeot Challenge. I went into the Peugeot Challenge pretty quickly, actually. I've probably only ever done about 3 rallies before I went into the Peugeot Challenge with the 205 GTI at the time, and there was somewhere in the region of like 60 Peugeots out at that time on most rallies. And you know, I remember on the first couple of rallies finishing in the 30s or something, and been a bit devastated by that. And then slowly we got into the top 10, and then ended up winning around at the end of the year in Belgium. And I guess once you started going quite well in the Peugeot Championship, you were surrounded by aspirational drivers, drivers who wanted to try and achieve something. And you know, more in the second year, then that was my first year. I didn't know how I was going to get on. The second year, the aim was to win the championship, and if you won the championship, then you won a factory drive with Peugeot. So, you know, as you experience. So as soon as you're in that competitive element, I guess that's when it changes a little bit from being fun to being something where you want to try and achieve something. And I was quite competitive in nature, I would say. So you know, once you're competing for event wins in the Peugeots, once you're at the top end of the championship, I'm not sure if you think I want to make this a career. That's a difficult, you know, maybe even a naive thing to think, but certainly that was the aspiration. And as I said, the more time you spent in those championships, the more good drivers you competed against, the more it brought you on, and the more you hope to progress from that. And actually, from that era of Peugeot Challenge, I would say there was probably, you know, half a dozen, maybe even 10 drivers that went on to long, successful careers in British rallying.
Yeah, and like I say, you've covered a lot of issues there. I'm going to, rather than I'm going to save. Put myself up. I'm going to save this, Ryan. The sort of nitty gritty and the detail about rallying competition for a different opportunity, because that's me just really interested in, you know, where you've come from as a competition driver, and it probably teases up to the point where we can have a really serious driver interview, and I'd love to do that with you. But then what that step then takes you into being really serious. You're around one mate championships. Ultimately, you go on, you know, to great success. You're a front runner in every championship you do, and ultimately you become a works driver, winning a one mate championship with Mitsubishi, and that's great. And I'm not even going to talk about any of that either. Then we get to the other side of that crest, which is where you're not a works driver, which does happen to everybody, including Colin McRae, and then you need to carve out another type of career, and you start doing punditry, if we want to call it that. And I can remember seeing you do probably one of your first ever live commentaries, and you're great at it. Really, really good live commentator. What got you into doing media work? What made you, you know, want to work in that realm? Or is it just so you couldn't do anything else?
No, I think the thing is, I was always passionate about rallying, whether I was competing or not. I'm a passionate rally fan, and I still am today. You know, I'm not directly involved in the WRC, but I follow closely what goes on, and I'm interested in it. And the same goes for rallying really at a national level. I tend to follow what's going on because I'm interested in it, as simple as that. And inherently, if you're interested in it, it's pretty easy to talk about it. And sort of as a career alongside rallying, I do a lot of presenting for car manufacturers, launch events, that kind of thing. So it's pretty easy for me to talk about something. If there's something going on, then I can talk about it. And rallying's probably the biggest passion I've got. So you know, I don't find it difficult to talk about it either in a live environment or a punditry environment. You know, be it a sort of review afterwards.
Cool. Talking about that, Ryan, bits and pieces are coming on to the auction as we're speaking. I'm just wondering if you can look at this on your phone. Is it possible for you to see the car that's going to be sent to screen as soon as I pin it? That one. Can you see that?
I can see that. Yep. Yeah.
Cool. When it comes to a rally car, I'm going to ask you about it.
Good, because I'd have more of an idea than that particular one.
Yeah. I'm going to make it easier. Jack Foster's going to tell us what comes next, apparently. Jack, have you got any idea what's in the lineup? You can talk to us.
Yeah, we just this is lot 114, so we've got a little while to go yet to the T16. But we've got upcoming a Ford GT40. We've got a Ford coming up very soon. So we're a bit off yet from the rally cars, but yeah, it's all going good.
But tell us a bit about that, Ryan. You know, how did you get into wanting to do displays and then ultimately owning the car that you do? And I'm assuming that it is your favourite car.
Yeah, I mean, it was a car I always wanted to own, and that was through competing in one, actually. So when I was competing regularly, I was lucky enough to drive a couple of cars that belonged to a sponsor. And you talked about getting to the peak and then going down the other side, and it was a fairly conscious decision come the late 2000s when I hate chasing sponsorship. As you said, I'm maybe a little bit quieter out of the car or away from the microphone than others, and I hated chasing sponsorship. I hated asking people for sponsorship, and you know, I sort of got to the point where I thought, right, if something's going to happen, it'll happen, but I'm not chasing it. And at that point, I really wanted to try and find a 555 Subaru, an original Pro Drive Group A car, because as I said, it was just at that point probably the most exciting car I'd ever driven, and was lucky enough to buy one in 2008. Really, initially with a view to doing some rallies with it, and I did that. I did some rallies, but they are quite expensive to run. And to go and do a rally, you need to make sure everything's perfect. You need to make sure you've got new tires, you've got the proper fuel, and you put the time and effort into doing that rally properly, because it costs a large amount of money. And I was lucky enough that the Subaru that I bought had factory history, and eventually put it back into the 555 colours. And like I said earlier, it made sense not only to do some rallies with it, but to take it to some events where people were keen to see it, where people could chat to you about it. And like I said, the events that were quite social as well. So I wouldn't say I bought it with the intention to do demonstration events, but it's been really enjoyable to do it, and it's good for the car's profile and good for the car's history to do them as well.
Why you're not using it as often as you used to?
I just obviously the car has gone up in value. There's no two ways about that. It's not getting any cheaper to run, and yeah, just really trying to look after it. And just as simple as that, really. It would be nice to use it more often, but even on demonstration events, there is a financial investment in that. And I've also ended up with a couple of other cars, a couple of my old works cars as well. And to be honest, you can only spend money on one at a time. And so I guess now having those other two cars has put the brakes on using the Subaru so much.
200, I'll take 200. I have 210.
We do have several commission bids that we've not yet dipped into.
210, 210, 220, 230. 230,000, 240. I can go. £250,000. It's 355,000. Hammers up first time. 355,000. Hammers up second time. Third and final time, and with great pleasure. The 1962 Jaguar D-Type short-nose recreation, selling here at Silverstones Auctions for £355,000.
Well done. The underbidder,
wow.
Harry, please.
Wow, indeed, Kevin. Wow, indeed. That's a bit recreation as well. So that's good.
Right, we move across to the first of the second.
Absolutely, and interesting to see the way that it went with valuations.
Fantastic.
Ryan, you can imagine how excited I am.
Oh, why is that, Kevin?
I'm going to go crying. Oh, we're on to a rally car. BMW, yeah?
Right, Jonathan, lots of interest on this next lot. I've had the car at my house all week.
Here we go.
You either know or you don't know what it is. It's a supercar. It's owned, of course, by rock legend JK. We're very grateful for him to give us the opportunity to sell it. Many of you have been to see it, so I don't intend to waffle on forever. There should be 7 phone lines on the car.
Do you know what?
It is a fantastic car, a genuine M3, built to effectively Group N specification with an ideal specification for track days and a 230, 240 horsepower engine. It's just done the Rally Mallorca with me this year in March. We had a whole bunch of fun. Jay loved the car, and unfortunately before the finish we got kicked off the island because of the COVID situation. So there you go. You've been to see it. Lovely car. We got a bid online straight away of £42,000 and £43,000.
84 is next.
84?
84 is next. £83,000. They've seated. It's 83,000. It's up north at 83.
Come on, the north.
Pounds for the first, for the second, for the third and final time. 83,500. 84,000. They have sat down. 84,000 could well take the car if you want to bid one more time at 84,500. at 84,500. Where do you want to be? Do you want to bid 86,000? 86,000. 86 surely. It's 84 and a half for the first, the second, the third and final time. Are we all done? Sold and away for £84,500.
Jack, have we anything on the Facebook Live?
Just people thinking it's going to go over the estimate. People think it's going to reach way over the 300k mark. And people just can't wait to watch it. I think everyone's just as nervous as what you two are. They can't wait. Somebody's just asked why he's selling. They might be new. They've only just tuned in, so they all missed it. So someone's just asked why he's selling it. Yeah, and everyone can't wait for it.
Yeah, well, the real reason, if I was a very wealthy guy, I'd keep it. Absolutely no question. And if I was wealthy enough, I'll buy it back. You know, it's just become to the point where it's worth so much money. It's very difficult for me to justify taking it to events and use it. It's too precious. It needs treating, and it needs to have an owner that can enjoy the rest of its life. Because at one point I could just about afford to crash it. I can't afford to crash it now. So with that spirit in mind as a driver, I think it needs to go to its next life and whatever that is. And especially if it's a museum piece. I didn't buy it to be a museum piece. I wanted to use it, and I've done that for 15 years, so it's been great for me. But if it came to parking it up in a garage and nobody seeing it and not sharing the experience, that wasn't what I wanted to do. So that's why it's up for sale. And hopefully that explains it. But if I had the money, bet your life I'd buy it back. Right, let's see where we are with the auction.
Just 20,000 miles from new is Kevin? All the cars done. Warren?
Yeah, did somebody shout me?
Again, yes, sorry, just picking up on Facebook Live again, to be honest with you. Some great statements on Facebook Live from people saying, chewed all my fingernails off, can't imagine what you must be feeling right now. You know, some great comments, people really feeling this for you as well, for both of you and Andy.
Don't make me cry. I'm that far off. It really is emotional. If you don't get cars, you don't know, but trust me, this is like letting a child go.
Yeah. And no problems at all, Craig Swales, who we just answered that comment for regarding why you're selling the car. That just proves, he has just said thank you for answering his question. That just proves we are live. If you do want to ask a question, feel free, get that question on there on Facebook Live. If we can answer it, we will do.
So you just want to give people a little bit of context, Kev. You know, how long have you on this car? You know, what it's meant to you, what you've done with it. Just you and Andy as well. Wouldn't mind getting Andy involved. Just a little quick, you know, what you've done with it just before it goes under the hammer. So,
okay, I'll let Andy answer that question first. So I reckon we've got 60 seconds at best, Andy. Give it a whirl. Can you summarise how you feel, having enjoyed the ownership for 15 years?
Yeah, it's been probably the best 15 years. I couldn't think of a better way of spending 15 years of my life. And the car's just been fantastic. Although we had a few technical issues to start with, if you think about it, we've run it non-stop for 15 years and it's been very reliable. And I'm sure whoever buys it will get a great car. And I am more than just sad at the minute, because I know it's come so close now that there's no turning back. And it is sad
will you ring me
to let it go. It really is.
Are you going to ring me back?
Yeah, thanks for that, Andy. Kev, can we just pull the auction up?
Okay, very close now, Kevin.
Let's pull it up.
Yeah. Just to let my audience know, because I'm live on the internet at the moment, the auction has rung me, and this is live for me, live at the auction. So if there's any decisions to be made about whether we sell or not, it will be, you'll hear it first. So sorry, I've just explained that to my live audience.
Yeah. Kev, just to let you know, we don't have any sound as well.
We're up to 193 views as well at the moment.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, I love that. I'm just going to check online with something. I'll be back with you in a sec. So, guys, can you hear everything that's going on here?
Yeah, the volume's back up now, so we're okay with the auction.
Yeah, I can control that. I'll do it.
Can we put you back in the small screen and the auction back on full screen?
Yeah.
84,000. That's more
Thank
like
you.
5, if you will. At 84,000. 5 is next. At 84,000. Bid 5 if you like it. 84,000. Bid 5 is next. 84 at 84 at 84.
Sorry, I didn't catch your name at the beginning of this phone call.
500. Bid then 5 is next. At
Gary.
84,500. 84,000.
Okay, Gary, you'll be my new mate.
85,000. Go 86 surely. It's 85,000. They've all sat down bar one. The hammer is up and I will sell at 85,000. First, second, third and final time. Are we done? Ladies and gentlemen, here selling, sold and away at £85,000.
Well, let's
great
hope.
car, great price. 6926. Thank you very much, Wills. That is a superb price for that car. In fact, I dare say we need to ring Richard Hudson Evans, Louise. I think that might be a world record. Let's give him a bell and find out. Lot 149. Now, Jonathan, this is a stunning machine.
Here we go, guys.
The Group B era of rallying. In 1984, I was 21, watching these cars in total awe. This Peugeot T16 Group B car has had a wonderful history, built by the factory, of course. A lot of its success in rallying was done in America, driven by John Woodner, until John's very sad passing in an aeroplane accident. It then got bought by New Zealand. It was rallied extensively in New Zealand and restored, indeed, in New Zealand in 2000. It came back to the UK in 2004, and it's well known on the circuit round here of exhibitions and shows. It's been to Goodwood. It's been to Race Retro. It's been everywhere. If Ari Vatanen's bottom had been in it, it would be £500,000. But because his bottom has not been in it, it is in fact 260 to 290. And Jonathan, you've got 3 or 4 phone lines. You've got to open this, I would suggest, at, well, 220?
220, absolutely on the nail. At 220,000, I'll start now here, then 220 bid, then 220 bid, then here, now 230 in another place. At 220 bid, then 30 is next. At 222, 22, 20 bid, 230 if you like. At 220 bid, then 230 surely, yes or no? 230, yes or no? Car speaks for itself. 220 bid, then 30 is next. At 220 bid, then 30 is next. At 220 bid. 230 if you like. 230 on my right.
230 on the right.
At 230,000. 240 is going to be next. At 230,000. There's 3 of you in and a flicker online. Who's going to go 240? 230,000. 240 surely. At 230,000. 240 if you like. At £230,000. Bid 240. 235 I'll take.
235 we'll take.
At 235,000. 240 in another place. At 235,000 bid 240 in another place. At £235,000 bid then on my left. Are we done? At 235. 240's got to be next. Yay or nay? At 230. 238. Thank you. 240. 240. 238 is bid. 240 is next.
240 is bid.
242. An irritatingly small increment you can't possibly refuse. 242,000. 2,000 to put you clear. 240 is bid. 242. At 240,000, far away.
240,000, Gary.
240 is bid. 242. Go 245. You've been with us all the way. 242,000 is bid. 245.
Yes or no?
It's up to you.
I just need to ask a question.
We're selling, I think.
Andrew, can you hear me?
248, sir.
Yes.
Cars on sale.
Do you want to sell it?
248,000.
Do you want to sell it?
At 248,000. 248, nod of the head. 250, £250,000. If we took a check, it would be a nice round number to put on it. 250,000 surely. Not including buyer's premium, in fact. 250,000, if you will. 248 is bid.
We're going to sell.
At 250 would be. Thank you. 250,000. I'll take 252 in the spirit of the small increments.
Okay, so it's sold now.
252.
Yeah.
250,000. 252.
It's sold, Andy.
Today you sell a Peugeot 205, £250,000 quid. Might as well enjoy the moment. 252,000.
This is no Peugeot 205 though.
252,000.
Yay or nay?
250, far away. What a car.
You're selling?
Are we done? 251, I'll
251.
take. It's a bit tight, but spoken bid, we'll take it. 251. 252 would be a long way going in thousands, but 252. If you want to go 255, feel very free. 251 is the bid.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Thank
252 with Joe.
252. Do you want to go 254, Simon, for quickness? 254. 254. 252. 254.
Yeah. Yes or no?
Hammers up. And I shall sell. 252,000. 254.
254.
256.
Up for sale and it's selling.
256. 256. Hammers up. At 254,000. 256.
Are we done?
256. Hammers up. 255. Yeah, I'll take 255. 257. Simon, please. 257. 255,000 is bid. 257.
I need to go on a holiday
surely
in Barbados.
to put you clear.
Get another 1,000.
257,000.
256. Bloody hell, this is pulling teeth. £256,000. If anybody else wants to bid, feel free. There are a couple of you online.
255.
How many people are bidding in total?
Joe, I'll ask for 258.
Cars on sale.
What are you coming back with? 258 would really be where we want to be. 258,000. It's a lot of money, we do know. Great car, great pedigree and heritage. 258,000 could be yours. Thank you.
258 is bid. It's got to be 260 next.
160,000.
258,000 is bid. Last chance, everybody.
260 surely. £260,000. 260. Hammers up. It's 258. Far away. First, second, third and final time. 260 comes. 262. Yes or no? At 200, my bladder can hardly contain its excitement, let alone its contents. £260,000. 262. Oh, 261. I'll take spoken bid.
He has been with us from the start. 261. 261.
261. 263 would be good. 263. 263,000, if you like. It's 261 for the first and the second, the third and final time here. The hammer is up. I will sell 263,000.
263,000.
265 then, Joe.
265 or we're all done. 265 or we're all done.
At 265, yes or no? It's 263. Left-handed here, then first, then second. £264,000. That's what it's all about. We're here to sell cars, and we are selling this one. £264,000. Simon, give me your best bid. Give me your best bid to buy the car now. It's £264,000. Come on, be brave.
Go for it.
264 is the current bid.
265 is the bid.
£265,000. 270 would be great, Joe. 270 would put you way clear. 268 would do the deed. 268,000 would be great.
Bid online if you're going to bid. There are 3 of you there. Bid if you're going to bid now. Don't let's miss your bid. Don't miss about.
Yeah, yeah.
is the bid now. 268, next bid.
Yay or nay?
265. Hammers up then. First, second, third, and final time. Now, fair warning, I will sell at 200.
268.
At 268,000. Simon follows suit. 270 at this level. It'll put you clear by £2,000. It's the next bid up. 270,000, surely. 270. Be the one that gets the rapturous round of applause. 270. 272 now, Joe. Play fair. 272. London bidding all the way. 272,000. £272,000, surely. 272,000. You won't get another. It's 272. It's here and now. 272. The hammer is up. I will sell else at 270,000 here. Then are we done? At 270. 270. First, second, third, and final time at 270,000. Are we done?
Go on.
272. Does anyone want to go 300,000 quid? Can I just get that in?
Yeah.
275 would be good.
Yeah.
272,000. This is a seriously
Just
good
share
price
this
for
with
a
everybody. I'm
wonderful
not sure who
vehicle.
can hear it.
275.
This is over 300 grand with the
surely.
10% commission. This is 300 grand.
£275,000 is the next bid. Simon, are you in or are you out? You've both been with us all the way. We're very grateful. People will talk about this for years to come. 275,000 is next. Yes or no? Hammers up. I will sell at 200 and 275. 278 is next.
Yeah.
At
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
278. This is probably
This is
taking
stressful.
more time than any other car
The
I can remember
internet
selling
audience
for
will watch
Silverstones
it,
auctions, but
We're at 275, Joe.
278.
It's not even about the money. I'm
yes
just,
or no?
It's painful. Just fucking get it
278.
over with.
At 278. I'll take 277. It's got to be 2,000 to put you clear.
Andy,
I
are
can
you,
hear what's going on.
landing in
I'm not
there?
take 276. 277.
Sorry?
Yes or no?
Are you landing in there,
You'll
Andy?
be lining up for 280.
Yeah.
277. Yes or no?
277 is bid.
280. Come on. Clear your bids out now. 280,000, surely. Palms are being already put into position, ready for the rapturous round of applause when this does finally bloody well sell. 277,000 is the bid. Go 280. 280. 280,000, surely. 280. Hammers up.
Done?
Are we done? It's 277. The bid is far away. The hammer is up for the 280.
280,000 comes.
280,000. 282, Joseph, if you please. 282, if you will. 282. 280 is bid. And that is a very generous bid, supported as it is by the underbidder. Would you want to go 282? Thank you. 285, Simon. Two people. Look, you just... Do you want to have it 6 months of the year each? 282. 285 is next.
That's how I ended up with it.
285,000. At 285,000. On a scale of 1 to 10, how pleased is the vendor, can I ask? 282. 285. 282 it is. Are we all done? The hammer is up, and I shall sell 285.
285.
285, 288, Joe, you know what to do. It's £285,000.
This is so exciting.
288 will be next. Are we done? Got a deja vu about this. At 285,000. Are we all out? 288 needs to be next. 287. I knew. I'm going to pick my lottery numbers tonight if I finish work in time. £287,000. 290. 290, surely. 290. 290. At 287 is bid. Do you want to go 290? 290. Almost certainly is the opposition's ceiling. Occupy that territory. Own the car. Go 290. You know it makes sense.
You know it makes sense.
Eyes, not around my eyes. Look around my 287,000 here then for the first time far away, second time far away, and the third time 289. 289 is bid. 289,000. 289,000. You've got to be 2,000 clear. Don't come back at 290, please. Go 291, even 292. 292 and own the car. Be done with it.
If they've gone this far, you wouldn't want to not own it.
289 still is a good.
You wouldn't want to lose it.
Good thing the pandemic will be over by the time we finish selling this car. So £289,000 every cloud.
Has a silver lining.
291, 290, 292, 292, or just go 300,000.
Just go 300.
292,000, please, Simon. 290.
So 290 is bid to help you, Jonathan, because it's not fair. 290 is bid. 292, Simon, yes or no? That's what we're looking for. 290 is bid with Joe. Simon?
292, yes or no? It's 290. First, second, third and final time. Here's the hammer. I will sell at 290. 291. 291. 291. Do you want to go 29? It's 291 here. Do you want to go 295? Just put an end to it and own the car. 291,000. Quickly now, we've got to move on. 291,000 is the bid. Do you want to go 295? Hammers up. Own the car. 295.
292. 292 with Joe. Simon, does he want 293? Yes or no?
293 is next. 292.
We're grateful for the bidding, but we do need to sell this car now.
292. 293.
This is a proper
now.
auction, yeah.
292. 292. We're all done. First, second, third and final time. All done. Fair warning. 294, Joe, quick as you like, and be setting him up 295. We've got to get this sold. 294, Joe, quickly. Everyone's groaning at home. We've got to crack on. We're grateful for the bids, happy for the vendor, but we've got to go on. 293, yes or no? 292. 293? 296.
294.
296. Not a penny less, Simon. 296. Take it or leave it, I'm afraid. 296.
294 with Joe.
296 is next. 296,000. Yes or no?
296 with Simon.
298.
296 with Simon.
298. No splits. 298. If you want to own the car, go 298, please. 298,000, Joe. Yes?
296 with Simon. Is it 298 with Joe? Yes or no?
298. Got to be 298. 298. Hammers up. 298. Thank you. 300,000. Yes or no, Simon? It's 300,000 or not. Or lose the car, I'm afraid. It's 298,300. Sounds like a sensible price. Would have helped if we'd bid here about 1:30 or something. 300,000. Yes or no? Hammer is up, itching to get the hammer down. At 298,000. First, second, third and final time. Fair warning, I'm selling the car. Are we done? 300,000 pounds.
Joe, are we done?
At 300,000. I'd like 305, really, at that level, to be fair. 300,000. Do you want to go on? 305, we'll take it. 300,000. Are we done? All done. Near to me, I will sell at 300,000. First, second, third, and final time. All done. Fair warning. $302, yes or no? Quickly, quickly, quickly. 300, excruciating. We want the bids. We want the bids to be quick. 302. At £300,000. No, 302. Take it or leave it. 302 or not. Sorry, you've been with us all the way, but it's got to be 302. Can't have £1,000 increment. Can't have two really at that level. 302. Sorry. At 300,000. Fair warning, I will sell.
It's going to do it.
302. We've got to crack on. 302. Your call, Nick. I'll take 301 if you want me to.
Tell them the owner's going to drop dead with a heart attack.
Joe, I'll take your 301. I'll take your 301. I'll take your 301. Yes? 302. Got to be quick. Got to be quick. We'll be here all day. You've got to understand. Come on, 302. 302. Looking for the first person to say no now. 302. Thank God we haven't got an audience here. 302. 303. 303. Come on.
That's the holiday in Barbados.
We're done. At 302 here then. Are we all out? I shall sell. All done. Fair warning. Sold near to me then at £302,000.
Right, Simon is working hard on that.
304,000, Simon, please. 304,000. 303 with you. 304, Simon, please. No? Oh, I'm so sorry. At £303,000. At £303,000. 304. 305. 305. I'll tell you now, we get to 310, it will be 2000s all the way. I'll tell you now, no if, buts or maybes. So you've just got that clear. I'll take it to 310 in ones. 304. Do you want to go 305? Quickly. 305. 304,000 here then. Are we done? Yes or no? At 304, do you want to go 5? 304 it is. Here then, here's the hammer and I shall sell. It's near to me at 304,000. All out. 5 comes. 306. 306. 306. Set your next bid up. 306. Do you want to go? Yes or no? Got to push on. We've got other cars to get through. 306. 306. 306. Yes or no? 306,000. 306. A lot of cars to get through. Today's not the day. Come on. 306. 306. 305 it is then here, and I shall sell. It's far away. 306. 307. 307. Fair warning, I'll sell at 305. 306. 306. 307. It's up to you. First, second, third, and final.
Take your jacket off, Andy. You're that hot.
Hammers up here. Are we done? At £306,000, all out and sold!
Congratulations, Jack. Congratulations. Well done, Andy. Well done, Kevin.
Well done.
Great, thank you. Thanks a lot, Gary. Cheers. Bye-bye.
And the buyer number?
£205,000, Kevin.
6982.
I'm going to come to Andy first. I'd like Andy's reaction first.
Right, lot 150.
Oh my God.
Andy, how are you feeling? Kevin, can you mute the auction a bit, please?
It's the Land Sprint from 1972. Real fun, real value car. This pistachio, Cirrus white, fabulous little car.
Just absolutely amazing. Wow. Just unbelievable that. Kevin, can I go to Andy first, really, for a reaction? Can you just mute the auction? I think you have done there in the background. Thank you, Andy. Chat to us. You've just sold a piece of history. How are you feeling?
Well, sad to see it go. Pleased the fact that it reached the price, which is what really is the car is that the car is really worth. It'd be nice to know who the new owner is going to be. I hope it's going to be a UK-based buyer, and I really hope that the car's seen again on your running with Group B, because you put so much effort into that group. And in a way, you know, I'm sad to see it go because it sort of left an opening for us, but not being able to integrate with your group. So I'm sad in that respect. But,
Andy, you'll always be, sorry to interrupt, you'll always be welcome at the group whenever you want to come down, mate. Absolutely. And I'm sure it won't be long before you get something else.
Well, thank you, Tim. That's a very nice thing to say. And I can't really say anything else, but I am feeling emotive at the minute because deep down inside, I never really wanted to sell it. I just love the car. And I'm sure whoever the new owner is will probably feel as passionate as I do and me, well, like me and Kevin do about the car. So pleased that it's sad that it's sold, but sort of pleased that in the fact that it's probably gone for the right price.
Amazing bit of history, and you have, as Kevin said in the past, you have just been the custodian of that car for 15 years. You've had the pleasure from it. You've had some amazing times with it. We have thoroughly enjoyed you coming to all the events that we've put on. You've attended. You know, even if you haven't brought the car, you've still attended. You've been a great person to get to know, Andy, and we're certainly not going to keep, you know, that the fact that you don't have the car anymore as keeping any distance between us. We want you still involved in the group, and I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure you'll be in a situation where you'll get something else very, very soon, and come and join anyway. So stay with us on the chat, please, Andy. Don't vanish. Go and get yourself a strong cup of tea.
Okay.
You deserve it. Well done. I like that smile now. At least we've got a bit of a smile from you now. I know it's a very nervous, a very difficult time for you, but thanks very much and congratulations.
I genuinely
thank you, Tim.
Kevin?
Yeah, I mean, Andy will have been feeling this with me when it was at 330 and went to 340. I knew what I told the guys to have as a minimum. 2.
You said 3. 2. You said 330.
Did I? Yeah. Oh well. Anyway,
right, you must be in shock. Maybe you
a bit foggy, but yeah, the bids were starting at 2. Yeah, at 230 and went to 240. It was getting close to the minimum to sell, and I was telling him on the phone not to sell it. And that reality was sinking in that me and Andy had these conversations. It's not about the money at all, but we would have been very insulted because we, heritage-wise, believe that car should be valued more. And we don't want an owner to have it who doesn't value it in the way we did. To go out as a bargain would have been a real painful insult to us, and it's not at all what we wanted. I think it was pretty important to us to look that it got 270, 280, and 1 or 2 cynical people that you know, I can be open now. 1 or 2 people were bidding us before the auction and at the end of last year, and we didn't. And I'll, you know, be straight up from Andy's point of view. He made me not sell it when we had a fairly serious bid off a buyer. I wanted to own the car, and we didn't sell it. So, and it was more of that. You know, it was an insult on the not an insult. I'm not going to say that because the person's probably watching, but it was a bargain price, from somebody that I wanted to own the car. Putting it out this way has proven to be the right thing to do. And from Andy's point of view, we've seen publicly that the value of the car has been appreciated by a lot of people. I think there was 11 people bidding at one stage, and they all went above 250. And you know, 2 people pushed it right to the end. And you can only imagine that they must have a very similar passion, because they weren't bidding. You know, they weren't just out for a bargain. So I'm really optimistic in my heart now that whoever's got it really worked for that. And I couldn't have had a better experience to feel that the person that owns it must really care, because they kept going up in small amounts. And in the end, I sort of wanted just sell it. You know, it's too excruciating, because and even now I feel sorry for who hasn't got it, because 2 people genuinely wanted it there. But that brings it back down to why it was auctioned. If I knew somebody wanted it with passion, I would have sold it. So it took the emotion out of it, and the right owners got it because they valued it the most. They didn't insult the value of it. They understand its worth, and it's gone to the right owner now because they thought it was worth more than everybody else. The actual price they're paying for that car is 340,000. It's 10% commission. So the minimum cost is 340. The sale value is 340. That's a good price. It's more than we were ever quoted for the value of the car, which, Andy, we need to feel okay about that. We know the money's not important, but
a fair effort to. Can I just say, Kevin, fair effort to Silverstone Auctions, the boys there, for putting so much effort into that. But it obviously was worth doing that. It was a very, very special car, and you know, it dragged on probably longer than it would do in a normal auction. There's a couple of comments on the Facebook page about that, but you know, it has been a special lot for the auction this week, and you know, I think it deserved that time in making that happen. To be honest with you, and dragging every last bit out of it that it wanted for those reasons, for exactly what you just said, that it does go to the right owner.
Yeah, and just to share, because people have watched this for a long time, they're interested, a bit like us. I'm happy to share a bit of information. I'll share more with you boys, but some of the stuff that was going on there was a got to be careful what I say, and I don't know what I'm even allowed to say, but somebody had put a very strong "I'm going to have it" type bid in it, and the other person was bidding against somebody who potentially had an unlimited budget. So we won't be saying much more about that. I'm going to be really excited to know where the car goes next, and yeah, and you know what it's like on eBay when you put in, well, my maximum bid is 50 quid, and sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, but the person bidding against you, they could start off at £18. They don't know what you're willing to bid. In that process, there was a bit of that going on. I could hear it, and it was really, really exciting. I don't know what the maximum bids would have been, but you can read between the lines of what I was saying there. God, I am sweating. That has been horrible. A journey of emotion, because I was sick when it was 240, because I felt insulted for the value of the car. I was even worse when it was 250, because it meant it had to sell. And I could see off Andy's face, I was disappointed. We both were. If it had gone for 255, we would have been gutted. I'm chuffed for Andy's point of view that we can hold our head proud that we've owned it. We've kept it in such condition that it's got that value, and whoever the next owner is going to really value it, as they clearly have. So I think we've come to a great conclusion. It's been brilliant to have the car around rally events and rallying with Group B. Who knows whether we'll ever see the car in Britain again just yet, but if somebody happens to watch this video, then God, I'm going to kiss you when I see you, even if you're a man. You've put me through some emotion, I can tell you that. Yeah, and I might let Tim finish off this broadcast, because we'll end it now. I don't know what to do. I'm like Andy. I feel like I've been through a divorce. I've come to a financial settlement that isn't exactly what I wanted, but anyway, I'm going to go and cry, and I'm going to go and think about what we can do next. But let's go on holiday to Barbados, Andy, and may our dreams continue. I'll leave you to say goodbye to everybody else. Tim, I'll put you full screen. Thank you, everybody. It's been emotional, a weird thing to do, to share it, but it's what being in a motor club's all about. So thanks, everybody, and goodbye, and see you later, Tim.
Great, Kevin. Thank you. Congratulations, Andy and Kevin, again. Just ironically, just looking at the Facebook Live page, car sold for what, 306, and that's exactly what we had on live viewers at the time of the auction, 306 viewers. So that's quite ironic. There's something to be said about that. Thank you very much to everybody that's tuned in and watched. I hope it's been interesting Saturday afternoon for you. It's been something a little bit different. We are going to, from Rallying Group B, be doing a virtual club night. I don't know whether we'll ever be able to top this as far as interesting stuff on a Tuesday night, once a month. But I'm sure between us we'll come up with something. Thank you very much to everybody again, from Rallying Group B and the rest of the team. Great effort. Congratulations to Andy and Kevin again. Drinks are on you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.